Welcome to CNBC Africa Special. My name is Arnold Kwizera, coming to you from Rwanda's capital, Kigali. And actually, what we're talking about today has a lot to do with capital. It's a special. Now, if you want to be part of this conversation, tweet us at CNBC Africa, or you could tag me directly at The Real Kwizera. In today's conversation, we will be speaking to the managing director of BK Capital. Yes, I told you capital. And she is with us here, Carine Umutoni. Thank you for joining us, Carine. And this is unprecedented times for BK Capital. Unprecedented times for you as well, as a leader. I'm sure you've never experienced such a black swan moment in terms of COVID-19 or the pandemic. How are you dealing and how are you handling the pandemic and BK Capital functionality during this time?
Thank you, Arnold, for having me and BK Capital here. We're very glad to be here. This is an unprecedented time. I believe nobody has gone through what has happened in the last almost a year now. It's been challenging from a business perspective because when we work, what we do is around capital financing and also advising and investment. So there was a lot of disruption, many outflows of funds from funds that invest in this part of Africa because of redemption on their side. Many challenges around people that are distressed financially, therefore wants to use their savings to support their daily lives, but also disruption in terms of delay in executing some of the transactions that we were starting to handle. We had to adjust as a business also, working from home. Thankfully, the digital space now is quite, you know, it serves us very well in Rwanda, and we were able to work from home without a disruption, because we really offer services, so you can actually work from home. No, yeah. The other thing is just being disrupted teaches you also. It makes you prepare. You become more prepared to those shocks, and you become more resilient to any disruption. So it taught us a lot as a business in terms of, you know, preparing yourself to do things in a different way. Yeah.
When you talk about one getting preparations, you know, and looking at moments that have happened and shaped you as a leader, what are some of the moments that have shaped you during this time?
I think just personally, making sure that the team remains motivated and the team remains focused toward achieving what we are meant to do as BK Capital was one of the things that really, you know, kept me going, because you know, when you're leading a team, you have to show that, and you have to really, it's not only showing, it has to be seen that you believe that you're going to execute things despite the uncertainties. I think it was one of the crucial and most difficult part of leading, because you have to motivate people without being with them, yeah, and also motivating them to execute and achieve your goal despite all the disruption.
Okay, talking about goals, there's been a landmark moment, if I would call it that, a trust fund that has been created by BK Capital. But before we get into that trust fund, BK Securities, BK Capital, there was some form of movement. I think the child started to crawl. What is the latest on that?
So in 2013, BK Bank of Kigali Group established BK Securities. That was a time when the capital market was being established in Rwanda. The stock market was one of the vision for Rwanda was to have a vibrant capital markets for really grow our financial inclusion and grow our financial services. Then BK, being BK and playing the role of a market leader, established BK Securities to provide brokerage services for any capital market products that you want to buy, sell, or issue bonds. So it was an operation that was running within the bank. And about 2 years ago, the management of BK and the group decided, when we were doing the restructuring, where we had BK Group being established, decided to look at this small operation and give it a different vision and expand it to offer more than just brokerage. We know that Rwanda is positioning itself as a financial center. You can only achieve that if you have vibrant players in the market. And we believe as BK, we understand the market way better than anyone. So obviously we positioned ourselves as more than just a brokerage firm. So we rebranded, we renamed BK Securities to BK Capital because it's more broad about investment, but also advisory services and just capital in general. So this is us. What we do is we do investment management services. So we manage funds, private funds, but we also establish funds that we sell to the public. We also do advisory services. So anyone that wants to list their company on the capital market, we advise. We play the role of arrangers. We had a successful transaction this year where we listed Simerwa, and anyone who wants to issue a bond or to raise money other than the normal traditional way of going to the bank is what we do. We advise and we help you achieve that. And of course, we still offer brokerage services.
Talking about those, you have a new product on the line, on the market, a new fund. What is that fund and what does it stand for? The Aguka fund, I believe.
Aguka means, not literally, I mean, it means prosperity, to prosper. So especially during this time, we all realize that, yes, you're facing, businesses and individuals are facing financial distress, but it's very important for an individual or an institution to have savings, to have a nest egg where you can pick when times are tough. Yeah. So Aguka is also helping you to prosper, because savings is a critical, it's really critical for your prosperity as a person, but also as an institution. And as a country, we're really looking forward to deepen the savings to DGP number. And you know that we still have a very low savings culture. And we decided to develop a product that is very friendly to whoever, an individual and company, an investment group, anyone that has money on the side that they are planning to use in a couple of days, in a couple of months, in a couple of days, or in a couple of years. And we want it to be very flexible so that you don't feel like if I save, when I need the money, it's difficult for me to get it. So the fund is licensed by the Capital Market Authority. This is the regulatory authority that licenses funds in Rwanda. It is registered with the Rwanda Development Bank, so it's a trust on its own. And it's very important to clarify that, because it is an entity on its own. It doesn't sit, the funds that people invest in Aguka do not sit on BK Capital balance sheet. If something happens to BK Capital, of course we don't intend to have anything happening to the company, but at least you know that your funds is safeguarded. You appoint a separate custodian who makes sure that the fund is investing in what they promised the money to be invested. So just as to make it very simple, it's just a vehicle where you and me can put our savings and earn interest daily. So what we do, we've opened on the 13th of October, and from the 13th of November, we will start publishing daily what we call the net asset value of the fund. So that means, really to make it simple, that's the price of a unit. So we issued the unit at 100 francs on 13th of October. Every day from 13th of November, we will be publishing a new price. And the price is guided by the earnings that the fund has accrued. So if I invest today 100,000 francs, I buy 1,000 units at 100 francs. if on the 13th or 14th of November, the unit is costing now 105 francs, that means my 100,000 has become 105,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is how simple it is. It's as if you bought a potato today and you're selling it at a higher price tomorrow.
Before we get into those intricacies, right?
Yeah.
The timeliness of it. When we talk about COVID-19 having happened, the pandemic having happened, and then one feels like it's very high risk coming in from BK Capital. What's going to guarantee this fund, especially being that in the times we're in, one expects there's a lot of capital outflow happening from the continent. We're already struggling with understanding of the modern financial systems as a continent in terms of investments into stocks, into markets. How do you convince an investor out there that, you know what, take the money out of a mall, out of building a commercial plaza and give it to us and we will invest it for you?
Thank you, Arnold. That's a very good question. Just to highlight, this is a money market fund. What you call a money market fund is something, we are investing, and we've clearly put it in the document that is approved by the capital market. We're investing in safe instruments. And this is why we've done that now, because we understand that, yes, investors are shying away from risky investment because it's not the right time. That is why the investment policy guiding the fund invest in safe instrument. What I call safe instrument is the papers that are issued by the government, government bonds and T-bills, and let's say deposits from reputable banks, and any other safe instruments that is going to be issued on the market that is listed and that has some capital protection. When we say capital protection, we are saying that we're not investing in stocks for the fund, for example, because stocks fluctuate and depends on the company performance. Therefore, and this is the right time actually for us to have that, because we have a lot of liquidity on the markets because people are still shying away to invest in new venture. So we're telling them, in the meantime, put it in the fund so that we invest in very safe instruments that are very liquid. So by the time the markets pick up, the economy pick up, people want now to start reinvesting in more riskier businesses, they can still redeem. And also, you know, during crisis, that's when people start looking back and say, maybe I should have been saving.
You never let a good pandemic go to waste.
Yeah, because, okay, even if I save 100, if today I put 100,000 and every month I give myself discipline to put 10,000 in addition to my 100,000, and that's the thing and the mentality we want to change, and the mindset. Saving doesn't mean that you have to have millions. No, you can start where you are with the small amount that you have, but it's really building up to help you achieve your financial.
When that is, for a student of economics, that is understandable, right? For the layman, the businessman, the businesswoman, whose sole job every day is to do some form of trading, who earns from their farming, and you know they may have 200,000 francs to put away. Why should they give it to you?
Before I answer that, there's also a perception that the layman or the man who trades on the street does not understand savings. It's not correct, because even going back to the history of Rwanda back in the days, people used to save but differently. Let's say during the good harvesting season, they will take some of the harvest and keep it
in a granary.
In a granary, yeah, to be used during the hard times. So this is the same message we are telling to the person selling in Mateus or in Kirehe. Yes, it's true, you're selling and you're trading, but I'm sure we have a lot of what we call ibimina, people putting together money because they want to be giving to each other small loans, SACCOs, yeah? So in the meantime, they usually have excess cash that they probably keep on the Momo wallet, not earning anything. So you can earn something even for a month before you start using.
Yeah, you talk about that. You bring up something interesting because other players, other members in the same sector have varied saving schemes projects with the Momo wallets and the likes. How are you hoping to compete, and what's your advantage if you are to compete with this?
A very advantage that comes out automatically is that based on our tax law in Rwanda, a registered and licensed trust fund is tax exempt. So any interest earned on Aguka is not going to be levied off withholding tax. That goes as high as 15%. So that for me is a straight advantage. That shows that the government really thought that, okay, if you want to encourage savings, you have to give an incentive, and give an incentive through tax exemption for the fund. The other second thing is it's very flexible. You can get your money within 48 hours, plus your accrued interest, which is something that we've not seen a lot in the market. For products, I also want to just highlight that we have very different products that are capturing very different needs. So it's not really about one product or the other. It's really about what suits me. And I think flexibility, being able to get back my money within a reasonable time, and also getting a higher return than just a very small interest rate on savings. What we intend to do is to invest in government securities that have different tenors, to go as high as 5 to 7 years, which gives a higher rate. But because we are professional and we know how to manage liquidity, we can do that without disrupting the fact that you can need your money quickly. So we can still trade on the secondary market and sell bonds in order to permit redemption.
The type of fund, the way this Aguka fund is structured, it's an open-end trust fund. What does it mean to be an open-end trust fund?
Yeah, so there are different way of setting up a fund. The first one is when you have a closed, or you can have a closed fund. That means you say, I open it for 6 months. After that, you cannot buy directly to the fund. What you have to do is you have to look for somebody who wants to sell you his units. You buy and you replace.
More or less a stock market situation.
Exactly. But the good thing with an open-ended fund is the fund itself has the obligation to buy back the unit for someone who wants to come out. So the investor do not wait to get an investor that is selling the units. So the units, today we might start with 1,000 units that we've issued, but maybe in 5 years we issue 5 million units. So it's open-ended and does not stop. So by buying back the units, what our strategy is, we don't expect everyone to come and redeem today. As you come to get back your money, somebody else is coming in to invest. So this is what we offer, and this is what allows flexibility. That's why we chose the open-ended fund.
Talking about it being a trust fund, trust, keyword, trust. For people to believe in you, you need to create some form of trust.
Yes.
How are you planning on creating this trust with the public?
We're trying to really first sensitize and make people understand that this is a safe product. I believe the Rwandans strongly believe in the BK brand. BK is over 52 years in these markets. We try to really, as we say, transform people's life. And this is a strong message out there when it's a product by BK, that's to say. But also when you register trust, you have to have a trustee. And a trustee is an entity that protects investors' interest. And by protecting, it means there's an agreement called a trust deed when you registered Aguka that says what we promise to do. What we promise, meaning we promise to invest in this list of products. And the trustee role is to ensure that whatever you do as Aguka, you are delivering to the promise. That means you're investing. So today we can't decide to invest, let's say, in a real estate property. the trustee will stop us. It's actually not us executing. We take the strategy and the trustee executes the strategy. And for this, the trustee is an independent entity. For this case, it's KCB Rwanda that plays the role of trustee because they are licensed trustee to make sure that what we are doing is in line with what we promised the investors, and we don't take the money and take it somewhere else. So these two for me are a strong argument to give confidence to the public to invest in Aguka.
Okay. Now to just move a little bit away from Aguka, when you look at the current investment climate, when you look at the growth, the GDP growth of various East African community member states, Rwanda is expected to have about 2% growth come the end of the current financial year. How do you believe and where do you think is the best direction headed if we're to go in the next 6-8 months in terms of investment climate?
Well, when you talk about investment, I believe you invest for the future. So you don't invest looking at the current situation. The current situation gives opportunities for investment. I'm looking at the digital space, for example. I mean, it has proven itself that we are going to live with, I mean, it is definitely a game changer to have this digital product, because if you had COVID without the digital products, I'm not sure we would have been home not working at all. We look at the energy sector, for example. I mean, everybody today needs electricity and to deliver everything. So I believe from an investor perspective, it's not a time to stop investing or closing. And this is where actually comes the big opportunities. Today, most stock prices have depressed. And this is an opportunity for a serious investor to actually buy all the stocks on the market, because definitely after the only way is to go back up after the depression of our stock price. So I really believe that this is the right opportunity. A smart person take advantage of a crisis to actually make. So
they should come for the Simira shares.
Yes.
Thank you for your time, Carine.
Thank you for having me.
That was Carine Umutoni. She's the managing director of BK Capital, talking to us about everything Aguka Fund investment. Where is the investment climate headed in the next 6 to 8 months? Now, to be part of this conversation, tweet us at CNBC Africa, or you could tag me directly at The Real Kwizera to be part of this conversation. Have a great rest of your day.